All right. Welcome to your Thursday free training. It's June 23rd, 2022. I'm Dr. Kate Walker, and you are either watching this live in the Step It Up Facebook group, or you're watching it live via the Zoom link, or you're watching the replay. Either way, anyway, welcome. Today is all about the math that's going to grow your practice. I'm going to talk to you about conversion rates, and I'm going to give you the actual conversion talk. And we'll talk about the ethics of converting a potential client to a client, all the great reasons you should do this, and what happens if you don't, right? Because I'm going to help you see this as a win-win, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing my job, because you are too important to lose to going out of business. Your community counts on you. So let's get your business in shape. All right. So let's talk about conversion rates. Now, I am not a math fan. Sorry. If you are, bless you. That's awesome. I majored in the only thing at the University of Texas that only required 3 hours of math in my entire degree. So I have had to learn along the way. So this is not converting fractions. This is not converting to the metric system, or gallons to pints or anything like that. What we're talking about is how to convert your potential client to an actual paying client. Now, I will start with a hot dog stand. If you were listening to me a minute ago in Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses, then you've already heard the hot dog stand metaphor, so I'm going to say it again. Imagine, if you will, you have a hot dog stand. Now, that hot dog stand, you are amazing. You make the most incredible hot dogs, and I'm going to give you two places that you could possibly put that hot dog stand. One is in my former town of Montgomery County, the place that I lived, and it's a little street called Honia Egypt Road. Now, Honia Egypt Road has nothing on it. Like, I think they finally put a school on this street, but it literally just connects two very, very busy roads. There's nothing on it. So the second location is Times Square. Right? Got the two pictures, Honia, Egypt, and Times Square. Now, where do you want to put your hot dog stand? Now, if you said Honia, Egypt Road, then, bless you, you're going to have a tough time getting some foot traffic, people to come by and see your stand, right? To even know that you're there. You're going to have to do a lot of marketing to get those folks to come by. Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 20, maybe it's even 50 if you really put that sandwich board out there and the guy that spins the signs at the end of the road, and you get people to come your way, right? But in Times Square, you're going to set up your hot dog stand, and you are going to sit back, because whether you do anything or not, you're going to have thousands of people walk by your hot dog stand every day. Now, 1,000 people walking by, what are your chances of selling at least 2 or 3 hot dogs, right? They go way, way, way up. I mean, even if you're a terrible hot dog maker, which I know you're not, you're going to have some hungry people coming by going, I don't care what it tastes like, just give me a hot dog. So when you make a sale, we call that a conversion. You've converted somebody with money in their pocket to somebody who puts money in your pocket. You've converted them from a potential customer to a customer. In our business, you've converted them from a potential client to a paying client. Now, back to the hot dog stand. And I'm going to use easy math here for my sake. So imagine on Honia Egypt Road, you are able to get 10 people to walk past your hot dog stand, and you convince 3 of those people to purchase a hot dog. We would say your conversion rate is 3 out of 10 people. So that's 30%. And I'm sure there are some decimals there, but I'm not going to worry about that. 30% conversion rate. That's pretty darn good, right? If you got 5 out of 10 people to buy your hot dog, that's 50%. 8 out of 10 people, that's 80% conversion rate. That's tremendous. You make great hot dogs, and you're also selling, right? You're helping people understand that that hot dog you're holding in your hand is way better off in their belly, right? So you go to Times Square and you're feeling like, hey, I'm pretty good. I've got a 30% conversion rate. I've got a good track record. I know how to help people understand my hot dogs are good for them. Well, imagine now you've got 100 people. I'm going to just keep it easy for me. 100 people walking past your hot dog stand with a 30% conversion rate, right? What does that do? Yeah, that's 30 sales. You went from 3 sales on Honia Egypt Road to 30 sales in Times Square just by increasing the foot traffic. You had your little 30% conversion rate, which just seemed like nothing over here on Honia Egypt. And you took that 30% conversion rate to a place with more foot traffic, and you increased your sales. You increased the number of folks who purchased your product. That's amazing. That's wonderful. And now we've added a number, a thing, an entity called a KPI, Key Performance Indicator. And that is the foot traffic, right? Because if you can perfect your sales speech, if you can have a 30% conversion rate, then all we need to do is increase the number of foot traffic, folks who walk past your hot dog stand, and we'll see sales go up. This is such a relief to a lot of people because they're always looking for ways. Well, how do I change my marketing? Maybe I should go to social media. Maybe I should do a podcast. Maybe I should. Hold on. What's your conversion rate? What's your foot traffic like? Conversion rate, foot traffic. Now, in our business, obviously, we don't want foot traffic. We don't want people, hey, I hear you got some therapy in there. Can I come in and talk to you about it? No, that would be bad, right? We don't want people coming in off the street. But what we can offer is a conversion call, a phone call. We know that, right? I don't know how many calls you get a week, but imagine if you got 100 phone calls in a week and your conversion rate was 30%. You would have to hire people, right? I mean, that's just crazy good. So let's make it a little bit more reasonable. Let's say you had 10 calls a week and you were able to keep that 30% conversion rate. Well, that's 3 intakes a week, right? Times 4 weeks in a month, 3 times 4, 12, right? That's 12 intakes a month. That's not bad, right? So whether you take insurance or cash pay, that is a pretty good month, right? 12 intakes in a month. So it looks like I've got a couple of folks watching live, and that's awesome. I hope you're feeling empowered to ask questions. In a second, I'm going to show you the conversion speech that I'm going to suggest to you, and then you can tweak it for yourself once you get in the Step It Up group and you log in, and always go to the number 1, start here, and all of this is listed in your profile. Now, not everybody should be eating hot dogs. Am I right? Okay, so I don't know what's in your hot dogs. I don't know if they're full of gluten and you're trying to sell them to folks with celiac. I don't know if they're this and you're trying to sell it to somebody who needs that. So let's talk about the quality of your hot dog. I'm sure it's amazing, but it's not a good fit for everybody. So here are the ethics involved in converting, right? Conversions are making sure that it's a good match, right? You don't want to sell a lifelong vegan their very first hot dog, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe you do, but it's not a good fit. So the ethics come in with establishing boundaries, right? With your schedule. You want to make sure that you're not going to convert a client who can only be seen at midnight on a Saturday. Not so good for you or your family or your friends or your anything, right? You want to establish cost, right? There's nothing worse than having this great hot dog, your services that quickly become unaffordable to a client, right? Not many of us are able to just hit a home run in that very first session and, hey, you're better, have a great day. I consider myself to be a solution-focused, brief family therapist. I'm very strategic. And so I don't expect a lot of sessions, and I'm able to conceptualize my cases in that way in the treatment plans that I create. So when I'm talking to my client, potential client, in this conversion talk, I'm keeping that in mind. How do I do my best work based on my theory, right? What is a realistic treatment plan for me? And so you would have to think about that for you. I know some of you, you may be trained in a certain modality, EMDR or Imago or Gottman, who expect, and you expect a certain number of sessions with your client, and that's okay. Now, with the No Surprises Act, we have to make sure we're very transparent about that. So we're establishing ethics around cost. And then finally, when it's not a good fit, right? When you recognize this client is not a good fit for you regarding schedule, they're not a good fit for you regarding cost. And oh, by the way, they want you to see their eight-year-old and you don't see kids, right? Now you need to set another boundary, right? Because you're not a good fit. So we're going to establish you as an expert referral source in your community, because establishing yourself as an expert rather than their therapist when it's not a good fit is an ethical way to make sure that you are connecting this potential client, hopefully with somebody who can help them, but also you're helping your business because you're positioning yourself as an expert in the community who they will refer to their friends. So you, in essence, have converted this potential client to a fan, to part of your marketing team, not like paid, like, that's kickback. That's illegal. What I'm talking about is someone who can say, you know what, I talked to this lady on the phone and, she was out of our price range, didn't fit with our schedule, doesn't really see what we need, but wow, she had some resources. And you know what? She answered all my questions and she did it all in 10 minutes. Now, how does that work? Remember, we're setting boundaries around scheduling. We're making sure it's affordable. And then we're positioning ourselves as an expert if it's not a good fit. So I'm going to share my screen. And remember, this is actually going to go into your resources. So let's take a look. All right. So this is the marketing script for, I need music for when I'm doing this, right? Like da dum da dum. All right. So your marketing script. I prefer to use a 10-minute consultation, no more than 15. Again, this is how I set boundaries around my schedule. I'm able to let them know, hey, you've got 10 minutes. So let's look at this. Hi, this is Kate Walker with AchieveBalance.org. Is this blank? Now, if you haven't seen my YouTube videos or other videos about scheduling software, this is a 10-minute consultation. So I'm actually contacting the client at a time when I know that they're available, right? Because I'm able to program that into my full slate scheduling software. So this 10-minute consultation is actually on my calendar and on their calendar. They've gotten a reminder so we don't play phone tag, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. That's somewhere else in your resources or on my YouTube channel. So take a look at that. So we have connected. We're not playing phone tag, and here we go. So they are expecting my call. I'm saying to them, hey, you scheduled a 10-minute consultation, and I want to make sure I can answer your questions about cost and schedule. So right away, I'm helping them understand, hey, this may not be for you. So let's see if we are a good fit. But also make sure what you're going through is a good fit for the therapist. Is that okay? Now, it's important to ask them occasionally, is this okay? Because when they say yes, they're thinking about booking a session with you. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, wait, that's not going to work for me. But if it's not going to work, again, remember, you're positioning yourself as an expert. Tell me a little bit, again, I'm front loading this. I'm planting the seed. I want to hear a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what's going on. And this is where you take notes and watch the clock. So make sure you take notes while they're talking. And you want to make sure that if you possibly can, you're referring to the people they mentioned to refer to them by name. So if they're talking about their kiddo, ask the kiddo's name. If they're talking about their spouse, ask the spouse's name. Make sure that you're referring to Ron or Joni or Stacy or Bob. So another thing I'd like to ask is whether or not the client has had therapy before, whether it was helpful, whether they enjoyed it. You want to reflect, affirm, and listen, but keep an eye on the clock. Remember, you don't want this to go any more than 3 or 4 minutes because you've got to keep them on schedule with this 10-minute consultation, which fulfills our first goal of setting boundaries with time. Once they hear you here, kind of, okay, hey, let me ask a couple of questions. You're interrupting their story. Then they understand, oh, wow, this is a person who's really going to stick to the clock. They may not like that, but that's okay. That means they may not be a good fit for you and the boundaries you're setting. Remember, this is all about a fit, not a dollar sign. We want to convert a good client for you, good for you, and good for them. So let me tell you a little, this is me talking. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about how I conduct therapy or how therapy can help. So we're going to start right away, letting this potential client understand what therapy can and cannot do, right? So when I do, and whatever they're asking for, individual, couple, with kids, families, I like to give them, and then I give them a structure. Now, this is based on my theory. So I tell them what they can expect from session 1, session 2, session 3, and when I see couples, session 4. Now, when I do that, so let me give you an example. Let's say it's a couple. All right, let me tell you what you can expect from me. At the first session, I'm going to ask you a ton of questions. It's going to feel like an interview. At the end of that first session, I'm going to give you some directions that we can take. If everybody agrees to go forward, then I will set one individual session with you and one individual session with Bob, and those will be 1-hour sessions. The 4th session will be a communication exercise. And at the end of that, you'll have some tools to navigate conflict. And then we can decide if you guys want to move forward from there. So I didn't give them an expectation of a cure. I didn't give them an expectation that I'm a miracle worker or that therapy is going to save the day, right? What I help them understand is what I can do, what they can expect, and this is about how long it will take to see those results, right? Not, guaranteed or your money back. This is just helping them understand my boundaries, how I do my best work, and what to expect. Because a lot of folks, especially if they answered before, they've never had therapy before, or they didn't like therapy before, or folks who had therapy before that was unstructured and they didn't like it, they loved me because I'm completely structured, right? Maybe folks who had structure and hated it, I'm not such a great fit for them, right? If they want more kind of a loosey-goosey kind of that, and that's not me, and that's okay. But I'd rather have a client who's a good fit so that there are no surprises, because we're getting to the cost part, aren't we? So I'm going to say, now let me ask me questions. I'm sure you're wondering about cost and schedule, what's important for you. So I plant that. Remember, your clients, potential clients, are coming to you under duress. When people are stressed, anxiety goes up, cognition goes down. They don't remember what they wanted to ask unless you have the occasional person that has notes. So I'm going to be sure to plant the seed of cost and schedule, because I know that's what's going to keep a client sometimes from getting my services. So tell me what's important. We talk about whether or not I can accommodate them. I only see clients on Monday and Tuesday. Oh, I need you on Friday. Okay, it sounds like it's not going to be a good fit. I need to use my insurance. Oh, I don't use insurance. I don't process insurance. It's not going to be a good fit. Here's my rate. Okay, does that sound fine? So then I explain a little bit about my scheduling software. I asked them if it's okay to send a text message reminder, because that's what our software does. It's all HIPAA compliant. And then email, we email them a confirmation and the Zoom link. And we don't do a map to our offices anymore. So that may be gone by the time I upload that into your resources, because I'm completely virtual now. And then the last thing I gather is their payment information. So remember, before, I've already let them know my rate, and I've already let them know my schedule. Now, at any time that disqualified them, or they disqualified themselves, we're going to jump to this next part. So we'll get there in just a second. So I let them know that I need to gather their payment information. Now, here's my stand on this, and I know a lot of folks are different. I would never run a credit card before a first appointment, even if they sign the paperwork, because I send them a link. They're supposed to sign the paperwork electronically. Even if they have signed that paperwork, if they show me at the first session, I can go into my software and make sure they never get another automatic email. And I can make sure they're not allowed to schedule online, right? Because for me, that's a boundary. If they can't make it to their first session, a virtual session, right, then we may have some difficulties. Now, I've been known to have some wiggle room there. I'm human, I'm not a robot. But a first session no-show is a pretty big clue to me that we're not going to be a great fit for one another. Now, so let's say we're back in our conversion call, right, our conversion speech, and I'm not a good fit for them for their schedule. They want insurance. I take cash. For whatever reason, we're not going to be a good fit. Well, I'm still within my 10 minutes. I'm going to redirect them back to my website. Before your appointment, so if they do book, or I'm sorry, we're not the resource for you. I'd like to direct you to some of the resources on our achievebalance.org website. I keep recommended reading. I used to be an affiliate for Amazon, and I would explain that. Of course, I would say, look, I'm an Amazon affiliate. I will get 0.03 cents every time you purchase a book or whatever it was. I'm not an affiliate anymore. But I would have videos. I still do. I have tons of podcasts links from other people, blogs I've written. So I always let people know, hey, look, if I get it, we're not going to be a good fit because of these things, but please go check out these resources. And here's a great book I recommend. And here's 2 or 3 people I think would be an amazing fit for you. And they take your insurance. Yes, I keep that kind of referral list. So I'm directing these folks to the next best thing so that they know, hey, you know what? Kate's a pretty good resource. In fact, when I do my marketing, when I go out into the community, I'm going to stop the share. That's how I market myself. I market myself as a resource, not a therapist. They already know I'm a therapist. Now, I've done YouTube videos on the elevator speech or the 60-second commercial, right? So go to YouTube, check that out. I'll probably do another training here because it's such a popular training. But I give people information about me as a trusted resource. So folks know that if they think of someone who's having difficulty, a family member, an aunt, uncle, cousin, whatever, they can give them the link to my 10-minute consultation, knowing that they're going to get a resource and questions answered. Now, those of you who have big practices and you have a receptionist or you have several therapists who can be on call, that's a great opportunity for you to market. Hey, somebody's going to answer the phone today, right? That's huge for a lot of folks who are really struggling. Now, I'm going to wrap up here. So what we did today, we talked about a conversion rate. Remember, it's a simple math problem that tells you the number of people who actually book that first session versus the number of people who are just phone calls, right? So we decided, actually, we didn't decide, math told us, if we can increase the number of phone calls, right? And you have a great conversion speech, your conversion rate, the number of intakes you will have will go up, right? 30% of 10 is 3, 30% of 100 is 30, right? So if we increase that KPI, that key performance indicator of phone calls, foot traffic to your door. That means phone calls you pick up. Those are phone calls that you answer back, phone calls where we actually connect, right? I don't mean 100 phone calls and then I'm just playing phone tag and I only get to 3. No, I'm talking about 10 phone calls a week. How many of those where you speak and you're able to convert a client who's actually a good fit for you? And then we talked about the actual conversion speech, which is going into your resources. So the actual conversion speech is going to educate your client about what you can and cannot do. It's also going to set boundaries with time and cost. And if it's not a good fit, it's going to establish you as an expert in your community that they'll be happy to refer people to. Hey, you need to go see that blog that Kate did about forgiveness. I've heard that before. Or, hey, you know what? My cousin told me to read that blog about making amends, and I did, and I just had to reach out. So these are blogs that I've done, and you've seen the resource we have in your resources about blogs and how they can help your practice. Well, that's a great way. If it's a resource that you can point folks to, they're going to want to make an appointment with you. So that's it for this training on conversion rates, conversion speeches. We'll put this into your resources here in about a week once we get the transcript back. You guys have an amazing day. If you're watching the replay, have an amazing day. This is Dr. Kate Walker with your free Thursday training in the Step It Up group. See ya.